Hello everyone, welcome to Dibya classes. So your wait is finally over. So from this chapter onwards, we will start writing programs. So in chapter 1 and 2, you studied the theory of Java. In chapter 3, you studied about the syntaxes. And in chapter 4, we'll be studying actually how to write this program using all the syntaxes you studied in chapter 3. In chapter 4, we are also going to study how to take inputs and print the output in a Java program. So let us start quickly. Chapter 4, input and output. So before understanding how to take input, how to print the answers and everything, let us first understand the skeleton of a program. So what is the skeleton of a program? It is a layout of a program. It's how a program will look. Okay. So let us first understand this. So whatever programs you are going to write in class name, all will follow this same syntax. Okay, or the same skeleton you can say. So that is first class. So all programs you will be writing in class name will start with the keyword class. Okay, and then you will give a class name. You already know. Class name is nothing but it is identifier name. Identifiers. How to write identifiers? Identifier are names. Okay, there are some rules which are used to give names to class, objects, methods, variables. Okay, so all these rules and regulations we studied in chapter 3 will now be used in this programming. So after writing this, the class will have curly bracket. And what is this curly bracket? It tells the area of the class. Okay, means whatever we'll be writing will be written inside this curly brackets. Okay, will be written inside this curly brackets, whatever you'll write. So after writing this, we are going to write public void and then we'll give a function name according to identifier rules, and this is called the parameter. This is called the parameter or the parameter list. Okay, this is called the parameter list. And then this function, this is a function. Okay, this function will also have curly brackets. Understood? So whatever program you write, okay, in class 9, all will follow this same rule. That is, first you write to class, then you have to write class name, then curly brackets, then public void, then function name, then parameter list. Okay, this bracket, parameter list. I will let you know what to write there. Okay, and then curly brackets open, end of curly brackets of public void, end of curly brackets of class. All the class 9 program, also in class 10, will be following this syntax. So why you are writing class first and not public void first? Why you are writing public void line? Okay, all these details you will be studying in class 10. For now, you just have to remember this skeleton of the program. Okay, each program will have the same thing. And now this public void function you have written, the function, okay, public void function name. Whatever you are going to write will be inside this area. Everything, that is, again it will be divided into 3 parts. All programs can be divided into 3 parts. Okay, that is input, processing and output. All the Java programs in this world, okay, are divided into 3 parts. A program can be divided into 3 parts. That is input, processing and output. And this input, processing and output, everything will be written in this function. You can see this function, public void. This is the function. So inside this function, you have to write input, processing and output. And every time it will follow the same process. That first you have to do the input, second you have to do the processing, and third you have to do the output. Okay. Take anything. A program is nothing but it is a task. It is a machine kind of thing. Assume that program is a machine. So every machine has 3 things. It will take some input, it will process it and give some output. A program you can compare with a machine. Okay, it will take some input. For example, here input is sugarcane sticks. Processing, it will grind it. And what will be the output? Output will be sugarcane juice. Okay. A Java program is something like that. It will take some value, means that is input. It will process it and it will give some output. For example, input is two values, 2 and 5. This is input. Processing, for example, you are adding 2 and 5. And then we have output. So what you will get as output? You will get the output as 7. So input, processing, output. Can output be first? No, because first you have to calculate. So every time you will get some input, you will calculate, processing, calculation, all types of mathematical calculations you can say are processing, and then you will print the result. Okay, so all the programs will follow these steps. That is, first you have to do input, then processing, then output. And all the programs will have this thing. That is, first you have to write the class and give a class name according to identifier rules. Then curly bracket starts, and then public void, give a function name according to identifier rules. Then there is a parameter list. We will be talking about this. And then again parenthesis, and then curly brackets of public void starts. Then we'll do the input, then we'll do the processing, then we'll do the output. And again, after doing everything, we'll close the curly bracket of the function and we'll close the curly brackets of the class. Okay, this is the format you have to follow in class 9. In class 10, format might change a little bit. That will come in class 10. Okay, don't worry, in class 9. In class 9, you have to follow this syntax. Okay, so class name, public void function name, then input, processing, output, and then close. So all the starting curly brackets should be closed, or else it will give you error. It will give you syntax error. These are also part of syntax. Okay, so now we'll understand how to do these three things. A program is divided into three parts, that is input, and then processing, and then output. Right, you already know this processing part. We'll be learning more about processing, but till now you have known enough. That is, all these processing things you studied in chapter 3. Because all types of mathematical calculations, mathematical functions, you studied everything. These all are part of chapter 3. In chapter 4, we are going to study about input and output. So let us first start with input. So now we'll study about input. So in Java, there may be many ways to take input. Okay, but there are basically two basic ways. That is, input using assignment operator and input using parameter. So first, today we will be learning about the basic way of taking input, and then in future classes we will be learning other types of ways for taking inputs. Okay, so typically in Java, you can say there are two types of input. That is, input using assignment operator and input using parameter. So there are two ways to take input as of now. In future we will be studying different ways. Okay, so there are two ways, that is input using assignment operator and input using parameter. So which one is good? What do you think? Actually, it depends on the type of question. Okay, so it depends on the type of question when to use input using assignment operator and when to use input using parameter. It depends on the question. Okay, so when to use input using assignment operator? When the values are known. When the values are known. And when to use parameter? When values are unknown. So when you know the value, you will be using assignment operator. When you don't know the value, we will be using parameter method. Okay, so let us understand this by the help of a small program. Okay, so your teacher gave you a program. Write a program to add 5 and 10. The teacher gave you a question. Write a program to add 5 and 10. So first what you will do? First you have to write the skeleton. Okay, first let us write the skeleton. That is class, and then we will give a class name. Let us give DC, DB classes. Okay, and then curly bracket starts, and after that you have to write public void give some function name. I have given DNN. You can give as you want according to identifier rules. Then curly bracket starts, curly brackets end, curly brackets end. And the input, processing and output will be written inside this curly brackets. So IPO, I means input, P means processing, O means output. So you already know about processing, calculations, how to add two numbers. Okay, in chapter 3 we studied about arithmetic operator where plus sign is there. Using that plus sign you have to add these values, that is 5 and 10. Okay, but you don't know about input and output. Okay, leave output for now, we'll do it later. In this program right now we'll be doing only two things, that is we'll take input and we'll do the processing. You need two numbers, and in Java all these numbers should be stored in a variable. We studied in chapter 3. All values need a place to be stored, and that place is called a variable. Okay, so there are two numbers, so we need two variables to store them. So let the variable be A and B. Okay, what type of variables do you need? So you have to tell what type of variable, the type and size of the variable. So 5 and 10, we already know the value that we have to add 5 and 10. So we are keeping 5 and 10 inside those variables. So 5 and 10 are integer values. So we will create two integer values. I think you remember the syntax. This is declaration of variable. If you don't remember, please go to chapter 3. Chapter 3 is very important. Today, whatever you are writing are based on chapter 3. If you don't understand chapter 3, it will be very difficult to understand chapter 4. Okay, so if you are not understanding chapter 4, go to the chapter 3 videos, revise it and then come back. Okay, so we have declared the variables. Now what we'll do, we'll keep the value. How to keep the value? By using the assignment operator, right? Equal to sign. So we'll write A equal to 5 and B equal to 10. Why 5 and 10? Because it's already written that you have to add 5 and 10. So we have already taken the value. This is nothing but this is called input using assignment operator. We have already done the input. Okay, keeping values in a variable is called initialization. Okay, to do that we are using the assignment operator. Since you are inputting using the help of assignment operator or keeping values with the help of assignment operator, this is called input using assignment operator. Okay, so input is done. After doing input, what you have to do? You have to do processing. Means you have to add. Add what? A and B. The values are in A and B, so you have to add A and B. But after adding, you will get some value. Here you will get 15. So you need another variable, that is C, right? Of which type? Of int type. Clear? Understood? So this is called input. This is called input using assignment operator, and this is called processing. Why is this called input using assignment operator? Because you are using the assignment operator. Okay, using the initialization method. We can also tell input using initialization method. So here we have used this method because we already knew the value. The value was already known, 5 and 10, that you have to add 5 and 10. Therefore we kept the value directly. But now the teacher changed the question and he gave add two integer numbers. So which two integer numbers? There are infinite number of integer numbers, right? So you don't know the value. Therefore you have to ask the user. When you don't know the value or the user has not given the value previously, then you have to ask him, or else what you learn. Okay, you don't have any value. In this case, we will be using parameter. So it is not that which is good. Initialization is good or parameter is good. Both are good. Okay, it depends on the type of program. If in the program values are already given, like in the previous case, then you have to use input using initialization or input using assignment operator method. If you don't know the value, like in this case, you don't know the value, in this case we will be using input using parameter. So how to do that? Okay, so I'll write this program in the BlueJ environment. Which environment we are going to use to write future program? so that it will be more visibly clear. So let us move to the BlueJ platform. So in the future classes, I will also tell you how to write programs in this BlueJ platform. Okay, now just see, but in future videos I am going to tell you how to install BlueJ, how to write programs in BlueJ, how to run and get output in BlueJ, everything. Okay, don't worry. So first I will just copy this program, the previous program which we had written, that is class DC, and then we had public void DNM, and then we have declared the variables A, B, C, and then we stored the value 5 and 10, and next we calculated the value. Okay. We don't know how to print, so we have skipped that part for now. We'll be coming to output later. So this is the program when you already know the value. This is called input using assignment operator, and this is the processing part, and this is called the declaration part. So in Java, the program can also be divided into 4 parts, you can say. Okay. So actually all programs, all types of programs, it can be of any language. All programs, all computer programs are divided into 3 parts. But in Java, you can, if you want, you can also divide into 4 parts. That is declaration, input, processing, and output. Because the first line, after writing public void curly brackets, the first line will be declaration of variable. If you follow this syntax, you'll never get your programs wrong. Though declaration can be done anywhere in the program, but it is better to write in the first line. So when we'll be doing more programs, we'll get to understand that where we can declare and not. Okay, so don't worry now, because right now we are just starting to write programs. So we'll be doing around thousands of programs in class 9 and 10. So don't worry, you'll get to know everything one by one. Okay, so if you want to divide, you can divide the programs into 4 parts. That is declaration first, and then we'll do input, and then we'll do processing, and then we'll do output. Okay, so declaration, input, and processing. Output will be coming later. So now the second question comes, add 2 integer numbers. So in this case, since we don't know the value, we'll be using the parameter method. So in this case, we have actually 3 parts. We don't have the output part, we have the declaration part, we have the input part, and we have the processing part. So parameter is what? It is a type of input. So what we are going to change? Are we going to change the processing part? No, we'll be only changing the input part. So without taking input here, because you don't know the value, we'll be taking input here. This is called the parameter list. So you have to take input in this parameter list. Okay, this area, inside this. So what we'll write? The syntax is data type variable 1, comma data type variable 2, comma data type variable 3, comma data type variable 4, and so on. It can be infinite number. Okay, so you can take infinite number of inputs. There is no limit in Java. Okay, you can take infinite number of input, and each input should be separated by comma. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and it will go on. Okay, and each variable will have their own data type. So here we'll take input in A and B. So here what we are doing, here we are just declaring the variables. It is nothing but declaration variable. Data type and variable means declaration of variables. Okay, so here we'll declare, and I will show you how the values can be given. Okay, since you have declared A and B here, the rule says you can declare a variable once. You have already declared A and B. You cannot declare A and B again. You have to remember this rule. You can declare a variable only once. You have already declared here, so you don't need to declare here again. Okay, but you need to declare C because C is not used for input. Don't write int C here. Many people make mistake. You are not taking the input for C. Means if you take input for C, you are telling that give me the numbers and also give me the answer. The user is not going to give you the answer. You are going to give user the answer. Okay, user will give the question, you will give the answer. The question is the input and the output is your answer. Okay, don't write int C here. Here in this area we will be only asking for input. Processing will be done in this area, that is within curly brackets. Okay, so this is called input using parameter. It is done. What we did, initialization we used to write here, it is just shifted to this place, and here we will only declare the variables. And I will now show you how to take the input. So I'll do compile, close, then new DC. I will tell you what I am doing in future classes. Don't worry, I am doing all this in future. Okay, I'm just showing you. So can you see this box is coming? So here you can give the values. Here you can give the values. For example, for A, for the variable A, I am taking 5 and the variable B, I am taking 10. So the answer will be 15. Okay. So now you are not getting the answer because you are not printing the answer. That is what we are going to study next. How to print the values. Because this is half done program. Okay. You have done everything. You have taken input, you have done processing. But you have not printed yet. So now we'll learn how to print the values. But now, have you understood how to take input? So if you have the value, take input using initialization. If you don't have the value, we will take input using parameter. So you have to understand the difference. Okay. And also remember how to write this. It is very easy. Okay. So when you will be practicing few more programs, it will be very easy. You will be doing automatically. You will not even get to know that yes, I am doing it. Okay. So since it is a starting stage, you might find some difficulties. Okay. So go through these videos multiple times and you'll get to understand what are the different types of input and how to write them. Clear? So let us do another program. So write a program to convert a positive number to a negative number and vice versa. Means if the user inputs a positive number, then you have to convert it to a negative number. And if the user inputs a negative number, then you have to convert it to a positive number and finally print it. Though now we will not do the output, that is the printing part. Okay, because till now we have not studied about it. We will only do two things, that is input and processing. So first what we need to do? We need to create the skeleton. So first let me create a class. Let us first write the skeleton. Then we have public void. Okay. So we need an input. So what type of input? First of all, it is a number. A number can be of two types in Java. That is integer or real. So here you need to think that should I take an integer number or should I take a real number? So always take the best data type. That is, if you take double in this case, you can accommodate all types of values. That is both integer and real. Why? Because if you input an integer value, it will automatically get converted to a real number. For example, if you enter 5 and the variable is a double type, it will become 5.0 automatically. Why? Because of automatic typecasting. So if anyone enters integer, you can store in a double variable. If anyone inputs a real number, then obviously double can store real values. So here we will take a variable of type double so that we can store both integer and real number in this case. So I will take a variable, let it be double A, where double A is a parameter type input because we don't know the value. We need the value from the user. And now input is done. Now what? We need to do the processing. So what we need to do? We need to convert a positive to negative and a negative to positive. So how will we know that if the user has entered positive or negative? No need to know. Okay. Your job is to convert positive to negative or vice versa. So what to do? Just take a variable B, multiply -1 to the original number. So if you multiply -1, what will happen? For example, the user has entered 5.5. So 5.5 into -1, it is -5.5, means the positive has converted to negative. Similarly, if the user enters -10.0, okay, then -10 into -1, it will become 10.0 means negative is getting converted to positive. Okay, and next what we'll do, we'll print it, but till now we have not studied about it. So our next thing is output. So I know that you are eager to learn, but today we'll stop here. Okay, first understand input. Okay, see these videos continuously, and then the next video we'll talk about output. Output seems easy. Okay, I think everybody knows how to do output in Java. Okay, you must have studied in the notes that I will let system.out print or println and it will print, but there are many story behind it. Okay, so you have to understand this output, how to print and what are the techniques very carefully. So in the next video I will be explaining about the topic output. So till then, enjoy your day. Thank you.